ঠিক আছে স্পেকুলেশন কত খারাপ জিনিস হ্যাঁ এটা আপনি কি ধারণা নিয়ে রাখছেন আর কি বেরোছে ওকে কি নো ওপেনিং
How's the day?
A little bit mixed. I think we obviously disappointed not to bat more than 51 overs. So to get, it's obviously quite a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. But to take those wickets at the end, and I think we were really unlucky not to pick up more wickets. So it's a leader to 11. So we can pick up, obviously get wickets first thing tomorrow morning, then we could be looking at a chase of 250. But I think if you sum up the day, we'll be disappointed that we only bat for 50, just over 51 overs.
David, Tajul batted quite well. He batted for 82 minutes, I think, including yesterday's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Night watchman, but he's done it before. Like he can support the other batsmen. He's done it several times. So how does that, in a way, inspire the rest of the batters?
It's really important, something that we've talked about as a batting group. Obviously, in any cricket game, you bat 1 to 11, so it's important that we have contributions, especially in the longer version of the game. And we certainly talk about those contributions from the lower order, so 8, 9, 10, 11. And that was a classic today, faced 80 balls, which was a great effort. So something that we certainly talk about and want to pride ourselves on, so it was a great effort from him today.
The likes of Zakir, Joy, they were not playing white ball cricket. Mominul as well. So, what was their preparation like ahead of this test match?
Well, they've obviously been playing DPL, some one-day stuff. Look, they come in with us before the test match, so we get some red ball stuff into them. But that's where you've got to, in a way, trust that they're doing some sort of preparation now. But they're playing cricket. I mean, for me, white ball, red ball, it's just a colour. I think it's just more around getting your head around the type of game that it is. And playing, obviously, a longer version as a batter, it's knowing where that off stump is, looking to bat, obviously more time, but still with that mentality around scoring. So it's just, those are the sort of slight changes, but it's the same weight ball, just a different colour. So that you just got to make sure you get your head right in terms of that type of the format of the game.
একটা কোশ্চেন একবারে পর আবার দরকারে নিব
Everyone is the dismissal of the specialist batsman, especially today. Key batsmen Joy, Lito, and Shadab all seem to be set. I don't know, from the pair box, it didn't look any extraordinary bowling. And we cannot just explain the dismissals what you saw from.
Yeah, look, I think the three seamers from Sri Lanka bowled really well. If you noticed, they bowled. I thought their lengths were really good, and they bowled at an angle, so they were sort of mid-crease coming in, so they challenged the stumps. And I think, if you look at probably guilty of either being stuck on the crease or playing at balls that weren't hitting the stumps. So it's something that we'll obviously discuss overnight and into tomorrow to make sure that we're really clear with how we're going to set about coping with, or being aware of what the threats are from their bowlers based on how they bowled today. But more importantly, looking about how we can score off their bowlers, because that's obviously what we're trying to do, score runs. So, but that would be the summation. We probably got stuck on the crease a little bit, but also got sucked into playing at balls that were a touch wide that we could have left when we were defending.
Bangladesh plays Test cricket after almost 4 months, and by that time, cricketers were playing T20 crickets like BPL and DPL, limited overs format. Did it face some difficulties while facing deliveries like fourth stumps, fifth stumps?
Look, you can argue either way. I just think for me it's more around that mindset. So I don't think that's a big problem, and the players cope well enough with that. So it's just a case of, say, making sure you know where your off stump is, understanding who you're up against, to the opposition, what their threats are, and then being able to deal with it. It's like the schedule is the schedule. You're still playing cricket. You're still playing on a game that has 11 people aside with 156 ball ground ball. So it's not to get too carried away with the white ball and red ball. I think it's we have players that are playing. Players are playing well. They prepared well. What we've seen in the first 3 days leading in, their feet movements, decision making was all good. So we just got to keep trusting that that preparation. And so you just got to get your head around the fact that you've gone into a longer version of the game.
David, obviously, there's a lot of some of the most senior players are not playing this test. Mushfiqur was in the squad, but they got injured. I think that also, I mean, sometimes when you have a guy who's played 88 test matches, young batters also look at that experience coming in at number 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think any team, when you lose experience, gets hurt, if you like. But I think what it does is provide a really good opportunity for players coming in, certainly these young players. I think what you saw today, especially look at Deepu as an example, I thought his innings, I thought his feet moved really well, really positive in his movements, whether attacking or defending. So that's a good sign. And but you've got to also prepare for life after those senior players, and that's going to happen at some stage. So yes, it's disappointing to lose some of Mushi's experience, the amount of games that he's played, and obviously what he brings to the team, both on and off in the changing room. But that's one of the you can't control that, so you have to move forward with that. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that we just have to deal with.
How is the wicket behavior affected?
Yeah, look, all the batters have come in and said it's good. You get balls coming onto the bat, you get value for good shots. You've seen a couple of this last session, a couple of balls stayed maybe a little bit down, but they've been off the stump, so they've been wide. But apart from that, if you don't execute properly with the ball, you get punished. So we've seen that all throughout. So we don't expect it to change a great deal tomorrow. Obviously, after that, who knows? But we're just sort of focusing on tomorrow at the moment.
Sorry. Obviously, there will be a lot of talk about how the tail scored runs today. So I think 86 runs if you add Arjun's runs and a few sixes. And is there a sort of a method to that? Do you put them in the nets? I mean, do they get enough time in the bat?
Yeah, we do. So we make sure that everybody, certainly the sort of 3 days out, so it depends how long we have together. The day before is normally a player's day, so they'll decide what they want to do, but the other two or 3 days before that, everyone will get a chance to have a hit. We just talk about, for us it's, so yeah, you're right, it was 84, I think, of 137 balls, they 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's a good amount of balls, 30 odd balls each, but averaging about 20. Most of that was Tijal today. But also, Khalid and Sharaful did contribute to that. But it's important that, obviously, we want our top end to score most of the runs. But if we can get that lower order to contribute like they did today, then we'll put ourselves in a good position going forward. And that obviously will be the mentality.
Thank you.
Thank you.